Hello there and welcome back to my channel, or if you are new, welcome. Hi, my name is Jessica. I hope you'll stick around and subscribe. But we are going to be doing a get ready with me style video where I'm going to be doing the Pantone color of the year, Mocha Mousse. I went through my collection and pulled out some of these products that I feel like will definitely help create that kind of look. I feel like this color this year, it's so pretty to me anyway. I do love neutrals, and I feel like this is an easy color to incorporate somehow into either your clothes or your nails or of course your makeup. So I've just pulled some products here from my collection that I just feel will make that perfect look. So if that sounds interesting, let's get started. Okay, I'm going to zoom you in a little bit because we are going to do some prep steps. I'm just going to do everything with you today. I'm not just going to focus on the steps that are the Mocha Mousse. I feel like, why not just turn this into like a little get ready with me style video? And I'm first going to start out with my Danessa Myricks Blurring Balm Powder. As you can see, I have bigger pan in this now. I really do like this. I've been using this as eyeshadow primer. And I find that if you use just the smallest amount, it's perfect. It definitely helps my eyeshadow to stay longer, to not crease so badly. I find that now I do have eyeshadows crease a fair amount on me. It's nothing too bad. It depends also on the primer you're using, but I just feel like, you know, my eyelids are getting older. It's just probably something that does happen a little bit more. So I'm just going to take my Flawless Concealer brush from e.l.f. I'm just going to lightly just make sure that's blended out and everything. Just wanted to do all my prep steps first. This is like the way I love to start doing my makeup. And then for my face primer, I'm going to be using the Laura Geller Spackle Primer. This is the hydrating version. And while I'm applying this, I'm going to talk to y'all about a quite scary incident that I had this morning. Alright, I was on my way back home. I was driving back home. And it had just started getting, you know, light, where you can definitely see more of your surroundings, because, you know, it be really dark in the morning, at least where I'm at. And like in my area, it's very heavily populated with deer. They're everywhere. I mean, like in the fields, they go across the road, unfortunately, and they end up getting hit by cars, which I hate it so badly because deer are like my most favorite animal. They're like my babies. So when I see them get hurt or they get hit by cars, it breaks my heart so much. But you have to be careful when you're driving around here, especially like early in the morning or late, like later in the afternoon and at night. You definitely have to be careful because they're everywhere. And I was coming back home, and there were a lot of does out in the field, just, you know, out there just eating or whatever they were doing. I don't know what's in that field, so that whatever was in there, they were eating that, just minding their business. But I was already driving fairly slow because, like I said, you have to be careful. And I slowed up a little bit more because I saw them, and I just wanted to make sure, you know, nobody come running towards the road or anything like that. Because when I'm coming back, the left side is an open field, like a really large open field, and the right side is like a line of woods. As soon as I said, I'm going to go a little bit slower, I'm just going to take it a little bit slower, two large bucks come flying out of the woods, running across the road. They were fighting. They run across the road, and if my car had been up just a little bit more, they would have both slammed into the side of my car. When I tell you that it took me a moment to sit down and film because I just felt so uneasy. You know, I mean, I know that might sound like I'm overreacting, but it's just to be that close to having something so bad happen, because for me, I would cry. I would cry if I hurt a deer. I would cry. I'm just going to take my this is the Odyssey Lip Oil Gloss in the shade Quest. I'm just going to take this for lip prep. I would cry if I hurt a deer. There's no way around it. This has kind of like a little bit of a brown tone to it, so I feel like it'd be perfect. And I just keep thinking, if I'd been up just a little bit more, that would have been so bad. And I'm glad that it didn't happen like that. I'm glad that they were able to safely, well, I say safely, if they're fighting, I don't know how safe they are, but that they were able to cross the road at least. And I've just been a little bit kind of uneasy since that happened, so I thought doing makeup also would help me calm down. Okay, now before I go in with the eyeshadow palette that I picked out this Solo Shadow. This is, yeah, is that what this is called? Yeah, the Solo Shadow from Merit, and this one's in the shade Studio. I thought this would be a really perfect base. Like, kind of put this over the top of where I put my eyeshadow primer. So I'm just going to pick up some with my Flawless Concealer brush again from e.l.f. And I'm just going to kind of tap that all around. I just want to do like a good base of this, especially since I'm trying to use my single shadows and like creams and like my cream shadows, liquid shadows, and like eyeshadow sticks more. So I've been using a lot of them as base, and I felt like this is like a kind of taupey brown shade, and I felt like it would be perfect to place eyeshadows over the top. And I'm just going to go in with this little bit of a bigger brush because I don't want like a huge amount of pigment. This is mostly just going to give me a good little base, and this is a beautiful eyeshadow. I've never tried any of the other shades. I have heard reviews that some of the shades, depending on which one you buy, they can be kind of hit or miss, but the one I have right here, which is Studio, I've never had any issues with it whatsoever. It's always worked out really well for me. It blends super easy, and it's a perfect one and done. Now I'm getting it all out here too, but that's totally okay. We'll be cleaning all of that up later, as I always do. That's why I like to do my eyes first, so I can be as messy as I want to be. See, this is really helping me to start using my single shadows and stuff like this a little bit more. So I think that adds a really pretty base. And I feel like it's definitely perfect for this kind of look. The palette that I picked out is the Urban Decay Naked palette. I believe they have taken this palette away again. And I wish they would just leave it alone and let it be permanent, because I feel like so many people love this palette. Now, I did have one that I purchased brand new off of Mercari, but I heard some people saying that Urban Decay changed the formula when they re-released this palette. So one time the last time I remember being in an Ulta when they still had this out, they had a bunch of them sitting up there. So this is brand new. I've never even used this one yet. I've used the other one I've had, but this is the brand new one, and this is supposed to be an updated formula. So that's one of the reasons why I picked it up, and I just said the other one I'll just put in like a little memory box and use this one instead. So I'm going to take a Sigma E24, and I am going to go into the shade Naked. And I'm going to, first and foremost, I'm going to tap that all over the lid and then work that into my crease as well. I thought about this palette immediately. Now, I might not be spot on to the color, the Pantone color of the year. I might not be entirely spot on, but I feel like you can just kind of work it to your interpretation. Honestly, I feel like it's just like a brown shade. Any brown would probably be fine. I'm just wanting to have just a little bit of fun with makeup, and then I thought this would be another perfect way to just use what I have in my collection, where I'm not going out and buying anything in particular for this makeup look. I'm just shopping my stash, using what I have, and that's it. So on that same brush, I'm going to take the shade Virgin, and I'm going to take that around the edges here of this shade. This is such a pretty palette. I just wish they'd make it permanent. Like, I don't understand why they don't. Because I feel like it would be a bestseller if they just continue with it. I just don't know why. Because it's a good, you know, solid palette. Okay, I'm going to go back in with that shade Naked, which was that first brown shade. And we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to tap that all over where I placed that Merit shadow. And then I'm also going to run that into my crease. Yeah, doing makeup is definitely just calming to me, so, oh, I feel so much better. That made me so uneasy for the rest of the ride home. Because I will say that as much as deer are so common around here, you really don't see the bucks. Not around the roads anyway. Usually when you see them, they're further away, like towards like the woods more so. So to be that close to them, you know, usually you don't see them as often as you do the does. Like, there's a lot of does around here, but the bucks I feel like aren't as common, but they let me know today we're here and we're fully capable of going across this road. I'm going back in with the shade Virgin and going around this. They let me know they are fully capable of being near the roads today. Honestly, there's a shade in here called Buck that we totally could have went in with. Wouldn't that have been ironic? Maybe I should add a little bit of that shade over the top. Yeah, you know what? Why don't we do that? We're going to go in with the shade Buck, just for the pure irony. And we're going to tap that kind of out here. Because that's a little bit more of a deeper shade, a little bit darker. You know, I know I have some nail polishes too. I believe I have one that might have the word mocha in it. I'm not sure. Could always incorporate the color that way too. And they blend so easily, like I'm not struggling at all with blending this palette out whatsoever. I'm going to go back in with Virgin and just go around the edges here. That's the shade I just keep dipping back into, just to work around it, make sure it's nice and blended. I think that shade has a little bit of something to it, like it's not a full matte, but that doesn't bother me in the slightest. And we're going to place Buck on this side too, right in here. This is a really pretty shade. And these shades, I mean, they just blend out so easily. Like, that's why I feel like this palette should be permanent, because they just blend, like you don't even have to try, and they just blend easily. And I figured this might be a palette that maybe many of you have in your collection. And if you're even interested in kind of going along with the Pantone color of the year, you might not be, you might not like that color, you might have wanted something a little bit more bright. But I feel like it's a safe color because most people probably have something like this in some way. And I think it's a pretty color. And I'm all about neutrals anyway, so I'm really excited about it. So now I'm trying to think if I want to put anything else. I do want to leave this kind of matte, so I might not add anything else. But you know what? I think I'm going to take a little bit more of the shade Naked on this side and kind of go over that a little bit. I think I brought too much of that Buck shade in. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and put my Smashbox and Becca under eye corrector. We're going to go ahead and do the lower lash line too while we're here. The rest of the products that are more like these, this is just from my everyday makeup drawer for the month. I'm trying to just get as much use out of them as possible. The only things that I specifically picked out for this Mocha Mousse color was the palette, well the single shadow, the lips, and the blush. Everything else is just from my everyday makeup drawer. Okay, and then I'm just going to take my Ilia Serum Concealer. I think that's what this is called, yes. True Skin Serum Concealer. Okay, so on a small angled brush from e.l.f., I'm going to go in with this shade Dark Horse. I'm only going to tap into that a few times, and then I'm going to run that along my lower lash line, really close, well, really close to the lash line, I should say. I have to pick up a little bit more. I don't even know, was I in frame that whole time? I'm not sure, but I'm just putting it right around in here. Just really close, because I'm about to go into with a liner. So I just wanted something right along the lashes. Just a little something like that, and then I am going to take the shade Sin using that same brush, and we're going to pop that right in here. I just want a little bit of brightness. Gosh, I really like this palette. I need to use it more, because I have just enjoyed using it. Now, I always liked the one that I had, the other one. But I don't know, I feel like, yeah, they did definitely improve the formula, and I like this one. Okay, and then I'm going to take the ColourPop Creme Gel Liner, and this one's in the shade Brew Ha Ha, and it's basically just a dark brown. It's a dark, rich brown. I don't know if this shade you can buy, like, permanently, because this one was in a holiday set, like, maybe a year ago. But any rich brown will do. This is just a really dark brown. And this is another thing that I'm trying to use a little bit more of, because I don't ever use eyeliners, and I have 3 of them in my collection, so this is another good way to use this up. Now, I'm not gonna, should I take some on my, yeah, I don't really want any on my upper lash line. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm going to apply my mascara right quick. This is the e.l.f. Lash and Roll, and this one is in the deep brown shade. I thought that would be really pretty with this brown. So I'm going to apply this right quick, and I'll be right back. Okay, here is this eye look. Also, can we talk about that mascara? You know, I rave all the time about the Refi one, but if you are thinking absolutely not, I am not paying $27 for a mascara. That e.l.f. Lash and Roll is incredible. Like a really, really incredible mascara. So for my face, I'm going to go in with my Ilia. This is the Skin Rewind Complexion Stick. Mine's in 3W Spruce. And I'm going to take my e.l.f., this is the Complexion Duo brush, but first I'm going to spray it with my Charlotte Tilbury Setting Spray. And then I found out that with this foundation, I much prefer to do one side at a time. I just find that it blends in a lot easier if you do it like that. Because I feel like it's kind of one of those that dries down a little quick. Not like too fast where you can't work with it, but I've just noticed that when I do it like this, it's much easier. And I have really been loving it for this month. That's one of the reasons why when I do my everyday makeup drawer videos, I really love to just pick one foundation because then I can use it the whole month and can really get my thoughts on it. I really love the eye look. Like, that palette is so good. And I hadn't used mine yet. I know that sounds so sad, and it is. But I picked it up about really before it was about to disappear again. And I'm really glad that I did now, because I can definitely see... Yeah, I don't know what this motion is. I don't know what this is, but it works. I can definitely see that they did improve the formula. I just feel like it blended... I mean, the other one was good, don't get me wrong. I just feel like this one does feel like a step better, but maybe it's just me. I'm not sure. I don't know, I just keep seeing people like on YouTube and Instagram do these types of videos or looks where they'll just take like the Pantone color of the year and create a look with it, and I thought it was fun and a good way just to have fun with your makeup. Just go through what you already have and find products in your collection that you know would get you at least close to the color. Now, I know that I'm probably not spot on, but I mean, I feel like it's just kind of like your interpretation. The closest you can get. Since everything else that I'm putting on my face is powder, I'm going to go ahead and set my face. I'm going to use my Tarte Face Tape Press Powder in Fair Light Neutral. And I'm going to take that on my Flawless Face Brush from e.l.f. I'm only going to pick up a little bit of this though, because this powder, I do like it, but it has a tendency to be very heavy if you're not careful. So I'm just picking up, like I'm tapping once and then going all over my face with it. Also, I'm filming this very early in advance. Like I'm filming this, gosh, this is quite early for pre-filming for me, but on the day that I am filming this, where I live is expected to get snow tomorrow, and I am so excited. I hope it actually happens, because where I live, we normally do not get snow, or if we do, it's just like a few little snow flurries and nothing comes of it, or sometimes we might get at most an inch. You know, it's just not really common here, but I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to see snow again, because it's been a long time, I feel like, since I've seen snow. Alright, for my bronzer, I'm going to take my Fenty Beauty Sunstalker bronzer. This one's in the shade Into Sun. I just wanted just a really good, I'm just going to take it on that same brush, really good bronzer. And one thing I love about this shade for my skin tone is I feel like you can't go overboard with it. Like, I feel like it just gives you a natural bronzed look no matter how much you go in, because I really dug into that pan and then applied it, and you can see it's just so soft. It's so easy to work with. This is in my everyday makeup drawer video for the month, and I feel like it'd be a perfect shade. I do have some bronzers that are a little bit deeper in tone. They might would have been better for this type of look, but I'm not too big into bronzer. Like, it's not my favorite part of makeup. I like bronzer, and I have too many in my collection, which is why if you watched my makeup inventory video, I mentioned that I am on a bronzer no buy, because I just have way too many for me not to like it. as much as some of my other categories. I have too many, so I'm going to try to work down my bronzer collection a little bit if possible. So I feel like that's pretty. Yes, I could have went a little bit deeper, but you know. And I feel like you can already start to see where I have like, I don't know, can you tell? Like where it's worn down, you can start to see the pan underneath. So I'm hoping if that eventually means I'm about to hit pan on this. That would be really nice to see. And I'm just wiping that brush off on my little silicone mat because I'm just going to take the same brush in with my blush as well. And the blush is definitely like a bronzer shade kind of too. So it'll just mix in really nicely. And that is from Wet n Wild. This is one of their Color Icon blushes, and this one is in the shade Naked Brown. I thought that this would be really perfect for this look. I mean, it's a little bit more on the warm tone side, but it's the only brown that I have in my collection as far as blush is concerned, so I figured it'd be, you know, my best option. And it's very pigmented, so I tapped once and then I'm tapping the excess off into the cap. And let's apply that. It's the only brown blush I have. This isn't really like a common shade in my collection anyway. I did have some browns in the past, but I did declutter them because I just said I just don't really like this type of blush that looks like a bronzer. But it comes in handy to have at least one for looks like this if you're doing like a little theme. It's very warm, but it make it work. It's not a big deal. This is just for fun. This is nothing serious. I just wanted to sit down and play with makeup today, this morning. Just have a good time, and then I figured why not film it too? Because I do love to film and have my videos go up, and you know, I really do appreciate every single one of you who take time to watch my videos and comment, you like, you subscribe, whatever the case may be. I really do appreciate you for being here, because you could be doing literally anything else right now, but you choose to watch my video, and it means so much. I think I applied too much on this side. I always do that on one side. I usually go in a little bit too much. So I'm going to build it up just a little bit over here, just to make it match a little bit. And then I might have to take some more of my powder on like a different brush and go around the edges a little bit of this because I went a little bit too much. So yeah, I'm going to take this side of my e.l.f. brush and I'm just going to pick up some of that. We're going to place it right around here. This isn't the best brush for this, but it was right here in front of me, so I figured why not. Not to mention it's a good to get like really under here and under your eye too. So that works. Just kind of blend out a little bit right here. Kind of tone that down some. Because I went a little bit wild, but it's okay. No harm done. Okay, I'm just going to do my brows right quick. I'm going to use my Colourspell brow pencil, which this was sent to me in PR. I'm not sure what the shade is. The shade was on the little box that come in, and I've already thrown that away. And then I'm going to be using the e.l.f. Brow Laminating Gel, so I'm going to do that right quick, and we're going to move on to the lips. Okay, we did my brows, so now I'm going to go in with my lip combo. We'll zoom in a little bit more. The first thing I'm going to start out with is one of my Tower 28 lip liners. This one is in the shade Color Me Fine. And it just looks like that right there. Really pretty. Of course, we all know how I feel about these. If you're not new, you know. And then I picked out two lipsticks from ColourPop. I'm not sure if either of these are still available. I will, you know, list and link anything for you below, but that's not really, you know, the point. This is more so just to have fun, shop your stash, and just see what you have. This one's in the shade Feeling Angelic. And it looks like that right there. I thought this was a really pretty option. And then I also had the shade Digits, which is a little bit deeper than that shade. Not by much. Well, honestly, it looks about the same on camera. It is a little bit deeper in person, though. I feel like my lights are washing it out. So I thought about that. I do have some even deeper options, but I wanted something to kind of go with the blush a little bit, and I felt like that would probably... You know what? Why don't we use Feeling Angelic, the first one here that I swatched. Let's use that one. So I'm going to line my lips, and I might go ahead... You know what? I'm going to fill them in, too. That'll make that shade a little bit more deeper. So I'm going to line them and then fill in the top. And then I'm going to blot it down to transfer it down. It doesn't have to be too even because I'm about to put a lipstick over the top. That's so pretty. These are so pretty. Okay, and then we're going to take Feeling Angelic. We're going to put that right over the top of that. And that's pretty all on its own, but we are going to go back in and put that Milk Odyssey lip oil gloss in the shade Quest. I am going to put that over that, more so because my lips are just really dry right now. And this kind of has a little bit of brownness to it, so you can see it there up against them. And this smells good too. Okay, so here is this completed look inspired by the Mocha Mousse color. It might not be entirely spot on. I feel like the eyes are more cool tone, whereas the blush and the lips turned out a little bit more warm, but I mean, you know, this is what I had to work with in my collection because I definitely wasn't going to buy anything just to do this video. I wanted just to shop my stash and see what I had in my collection, but I like the look. I think it's really pretty. And I don't see anything wrong with mixing like the cool tones and the warm tones. I think it's quite pretty. What do we think about the Pantone color of the year? I think it's really just a stunning color. I think it's really easy to incorporate into your looks, whether it's makeup, outfit, nails, no matter what. Maybe even jewelry, of course, as well. I don't know. I just want to do something like this. I feel like this is just fun. It's a fun way to just go through your makeup collection, see what you have that might be close to whatever the color of the year is, and just have a good time applying your makeup. That's all this was, just for fun, and I really enjoyed just seeing what I could create with whatever products I was able to find in my collection that matched the theme. But I do hope that you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, I hope you will please consider leaving a like, a comment, or subscribing if you haven't already. Make sure you hit the bell icon so you are alerted to all my future uploads, and all of these products will be listed and linked for you below. They are affiliate links, so if you click through and purchase, I do earn a small commission, and if you choose to do so, thank you so much for supporting me and my channel, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!